What's up, everybody? Ian Walsh here, Hard Money Bankers, joined my partner Josh from Hard Money Bankers. Josh, what's happening?
Not too much. It's overcast today.
Overcast today. Not a bad day, though.
There's your weather report for Wednesday here.
Okay, good. Helpful, yeah. So we're joined today with a guest, Rob Commodari. Rob, did I say your last name correctly?
Yeah, you said it perfectly. Thank you.
Nice. Okay. So Rob comes from a background of a lot of work from a young age, and it seems like you've been doing it your whole life. You turn yourself into a bestseller, next level your life, and you also host the podcast Chiseled. Most importantly, we have Rob here today because he's in the real estate market and has sold over 2,000 homes in the last 23 years. That's a lot. That's a real lot.
That's a real lot.
Yeah. We've probably done over 1,000 transactions, and so 2,000, that's twice the amount that we've done. So you're twice as smart as us. Perfect.
I would say that.
Yeah. So welcome to the show. Thanks for being on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So let's jump in then. 23 years. So you get to see 2008. You got to see also the .com-ish. Right around then is when you started to get in it. That sounds like. So what do we got going on now? Because things are odd in the marketplace. So what's your take?
Yeah, you use the word odd. I use the word quirky, right? Because it has been odd over the last especially the last 2 years, 18 months to 2 years, because COVID hit and things, it was like a 2-week pause and boom, it just went ballistic, as you guys know, right? And then about 18 months ago, things started. You get a hot spurt, and then you get a cold spurt. Then you get a hot spell and a cold spell, right? And it was up and down, up and down. And the beginning, like January, was pretty good for me this year. And then I got to tell you, February, with the exception of maybe April, but February through August, and I would say through July, was like slow for me. I mean, really slow. And you get through this stuff. I got through 7, 8, 9. I got through those years. And, you keep doing the activities that you do to generate business, it's going to work out. And just to backtrack real quick, like last year after the first quarter, I was down 40%, but I stuck to my systems. I stuck to the processes, and I finished up 5%. So, again, it's been pretty slow through the end of July. And look, guys, for whatever reason, bang, August 1st, I had one deal pending. August 1st, one deal pending. And since August 1st, I've probably closed 6, and I got 18 under contract right now. So how does that happen? I don't know. I think it's just a culmination of doing the stuff you're supposed to do to generate the business.
That's so right. I talk to Josh and my other partner, Ryan, frequently. He's not well right now. He's sick for the day. But we always talk about that. Like, I've given up on the formula for, I don't know, just be prepared to play catch when the leads come in, right?
Yeah,
right. I can't time June, I can't time July. I don't think December is going to be great, and then it's fantastic. I don't know what to make of it. So yeah. I always say that probably what you just said. I have no rhyme or reason. I just have to be prepared. You do your marketing, right? You stay rhythmic about it. You stay disciplined about it, because everything you do today pays you in 90 days. And that's a hard thing for people to a lot of times grasp. But once you have that going, you're just I don't know, just pick up the phone every time it rings. And one day is good, the next day is not. You just keep showing up, right?
Well, Ian, you said something interesting. You said what you do today shows up in 90 days, right? And yeah. I say that all the time. But the other side of that is what you don't do today shows up in 90 days.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Very true. That's our whole career. I think myself and Josh, we've one thing we've always been is just consistent, because it's so important, because what you don't do, and then you wonder what happened. And then, so if it doesn't show up in 90 days, you end up in a spiral, right? You're like, oh, this doesn't work, I'm going to do something else. And you're correlating it to whatever happened yesterday, as opposed to what you didn't do 90 days ago. But the flip side, I usually try to remind myself, when I'm having a good month, to be hey, this was your hard work from 90 days ago. It's cool. Pat yourself on the back for it, or whatever it is. But I don't really change much. I just do the same thing every day. If it works, I just keep doing it. If it doesn't work, I'll figure something else out, right? I mean, I don't think there's a magic formula. What about you, Rob? Do you think there's anything? Yeah.
Well, so I've been, for 22 to 23 years, I've been using a system. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Brian Buffini and Company. Have you ever heard of them?
Not offhand, no.
So, I mean, the premise, it's a three-legged stool. It's contact, care, and community. And you got to work all three angles. And it's about, I mean, it's simple. It's calls. I make calls every day. I make contact every day. I write notes. I get up every morning and say 5 a.m. and do I do my prayer time, my study time, and reading time. And then I write 8 notes every day, Monday through Friday, 8 personal notes. And then, like I go see people, like we have these things, we call them Popeyes, right? You Popeye your client's place of work or their home, and you bring them something. You stop by just to say hello, check in with them, but you never come empty-handed. And you always bring something, and people get caught up in this thing. Oh, I got $1 million client. I got to bring $1 million item. Well, I'm going to bring you a $1 bottle of ketchup. Just let you know, stop, catch up with you, right? And people love stuff. They love it. So it's a system. Calls, notes, Popeyes, parties, coffees. It's building relationships, and you got to keep getting at it. And so I know that my day, I get 16 calls a day, 8 notes a day. I do about 100 Popeyes, 75 to 100 Popeyes a month. I do 4 business networking events a year. I do about 6 parties a year, and boom, that's it.
Nice. So that's interesting. We do similar to the call that you mentioned. The notes are interesting. I don't do those. I should. And then the Popeyes, never even heard that term, but it's a good term to and I like it. Yeah, you're right. Like most people that are uber successful, you can't buy them something that's going to impress them, right? Like it's not about like they could buy it if they wanted it, but like you buy them something funny, or you buy them, like we did some of those with, I remember we bought one of the guys up here, bought him like a branded hot sauce from like Hard Money Bankers, right? We sent it over to him and he thought it was funny. So we made a whole video. He decided to take a video. This is a very successful guy in our local market. And he poured it in one of those, like, he wanted to test a water filter. See if it would filter out the hot sauce to then make water. So he made this like online video about it. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like, this is perfect. So everybody remembers it, right? So it's like, it's that kind of thing. The $1 ketchup, right? That's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, like your hot sauce, like I would put a label on that and say, hey, your referrals keep my business running hot. Right? Yeah. There you go. Simple as that, right?
I like it, man. So what do you think we got going though in the marketplace? Like you do a lot of business, so you get a good pulse on like what's going on. You kind of get that intangible feel of like, this feels this way or that way. What do you see like coming into the end of the year, election, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, so like, and I don't know if the election's impacting it at all or not. I know people saying I'm going to wait till after the next president gets elected. I'm gonna get in now before the next president gets elected, depending on which side of the chain you're on. But it's the whole, I guess, problem or challenge been over the last 18 months is these interest rates. That's the biggest thing, interest rates and a shortage of inventory, right? So you got sellers that might have had a 3% rate that don't want to sell and buy at 6 or 7 or 8, right? And you have buyers that remember, they heard, they were at 3% rates before. Now they're 7 or 8. I'm not buying now. I'm going to wait. So you got a plethora of buyers sitting on the fence here and a plethora of sellers sitting on the fence here. And what's happened is these rates have trickled down a little bit. More people are jumping in. And my guess is, and I'm no financial guru, but my guess is you get these rates. Like I got a guy that just wrote a pre-approval for a buyer for FHA. It was 5 5/8 today, 5 5/8 on FHA. Now conventional's a little higher because of the inverted yield curve, but but as these rates come down, I think that 5.5 is the conventional. It gets down to that. I think you're just going to see more buyers, more sellers hitting the market, and it's going to get crazy again. And that's my opinion. But there's still a shortage of inventory then there's still going to be a shortage of inventory because if you have a bunch of buyers coming in, a bunch of sellers coming in at the same time, that inventory is going to get gobbled up again.
You think it's going to release the 3%ers? So you think those 3%ers will release that inventory at 5.5%? You think that's the gap?
Yeah, I believe that. I do. My heart tells me I believe that people are going to say, there's going to be some people going to say, oh, they're going to try to time it. I'll wait a little longer, right? But there's going to be people to say, you know what? It might not get any better than this. I better get in now.
So there's, we've had somebody on the show. She's pretty successful investor. She had 2,500 units in my market in Central PA. And her number is interest rates below 6%, because that becomes kind of the pivot point where you can make money on a cash flowing property. I think that, certainly the home buyer and home seller that is going to be owner occupied, and, that plays a huge part in this. But I think there's an awful lot of investors that they've been looking for these fix and flip properties because it doesn't make a lot of sense to hold on to these things at 7-8% interest rates,
right?
Where those DSCR loans continue to creep down as they get below 6%. When we're getting there, there you got a whole nother pool of buyers that are entering the market buying multiple properties. So I think you're right. I think that we're going to have a lot of interested people in the houses that are hitting the market. And
it's good. I believe it's going to happen. And so tighten your belt and be ready. So if you're a hustler, if you're a grinder, you're like, it's been slow. Okay. You grind it out with the activity, Now, if it gets busy with all these buyers and sellers coming in, you still got to grind it out with the activity, but you better be ready to have good dialogue with your clients, be ready to get them out, show them houses, get ready to write contracts, get ready to decipher what's the best offer coming in. Cause it's not always price. It could be terms as well. Right.
Yeah.
That's true. And today it's interesting. That's part of the conversation. About an hour and 20 minutes. The Fed is supposed to lower interest rates. It's supposed to happen today. So barring that does happen, maybe we're looking at not that we need it to happen because a lot of the banks, institutional funds, they already kind of hedge themselves into an event like this. So they've already kind of dropped. So it's not like the Fed's going to drop today and then all of a sudden tomorrow morning, everything's going to be like 5%. But, that could lead for a nice fourth quarter, right? That this could lead into a nice fourth quarter for everybody. Sounds like your August just chimed up for a nice, you're spooled up right now.
Yeah. August was good with getting things under contract. September's on fire and October is great too. So, and I hate talking that month to month thing because it sounds so short term and so salesy instead of long term and business like, right? But that's the world we live in, right?
Yeah, that's how we measure our closings typically are 2 to 4 weeks, sometimes one day, but most of the time 2 to 4 weeks. So we just measure by month. Probably yours too, right? You're probably like 30 to 45 days.
Yeah, 30, 45 days, 60 days max. Again, it's the nature. We do want to build a business which looks out to the future, but our results are month to month to month.
Right. Okay. Well, now do you run with like a team? Do you have a team of, or is it you solo? How do you do it?
Well, I got a small team. So I have 2 admin, a listing coordinator, transaction coordinator. I have a part-time agent and myself.
Oh, wow. And you've done 2,000 deals under that structure?
Well, I haven't. There's been years where I had 3 or 4 agents, I wouldn't say many producing agents. I'll sell, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'll sell anywhere from, I usually sell about 80 houses a year myself.
Yeah, that's good. That's a real number. That's a big number. It's a big boy number. We have, you remind me, are you familiar in the Pennsylvania market, Mike McCann? Does that name do anything?
Oh, I know Mike.
Oh yeah. You two in a room would be like explosive. You guys have like that energy, both of you have that energy going that just, it's very similar. It's very similar to Mike. Yeah. So we have Mike's been on the show a couple of times. I have him next week on the show. He's a good guy. And, but he's got that same mentality, like just the way you are is very familiar and it makes sense. You both do a lot of volume. So, so that's good. That's great. What are you trying to do right now with yourself and your business? Like, what are you trying to get to? Where are you trying to go?
As far as the business itself?
I don't know. You did podcasts, you wrote a book,
okay.
What's on your horizon?
Yeah. The big thing is getting out there and speak. And I want to get more like keynote speeches, more presentations, more like I'm going to jail next month.
Nice.
As a guest. Okay.
You did a double take. We forgot to ask, I had to ask that question.
I did that intentionally. So yeah, I'm going to prison next month to speak. I'm doing a keynote for a graduating class in prison, right?
Oh wow, nice.
Last week I did a presentation for the Howard County Association of Realtors. Okay. Next 2 weeks from now, I'm doing something for the Harford County Association of Realtors of Baltimore. So, I want to get out there, do more of these events to get paid to speak. And I'm doing an event. In fact, if you guys are interested, you said, Josh, you're in Pennsylvania. Are you in Pennsylvania as well, Ian?
South Jersey. I'm like 20 minutes from Philly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing an event. You guys familiar with Kyle Wilson? You know that name at all?
Kyle Wilson, not offhand, no.
You know who Jim Rohn is, the personal growth and development guy?
Sure.
Not Rome on Fire, but Jim Rohn, the personal growth guy.
Yeah.
So Kyle Wilson was his 18-year business partner and helped him, market his way to financial success. So I'm teaming up with him and this guy by the name of Ron White, and not the comedian Ron White. This guy is a 2-time U.S. memory champ, and I'm hosting an event in Catonsville. It's in Baltimore area. October 11th, and I'm hosting an event. It's gonna be a full day event. It's called Memory and Marketing, and yeah, I'm not selling it here. I'm just sharing it with you.
No, you can, yeah. Put it out there. People, a lot of local people are going to see this. You said October 11th. We could try to make sure then that we get this out to, because everybody that'll get this is Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey mainly. So we can get that out. Try to get that out before then. So October 11th, all day event. We say Catonsville, Maryland.
Rolling Road Golf Club.
Oh, okay, cool. And would you buy tickets, or where do you go?
I could send a link, or I could send you guys a link after we get off this if you're interested. Yeah. And, if you're, be cool. But I didn't mean it like you just asked what was on the horizon for me.
No, it's fine. It's all good. That's what I mean. Yeah, we're here to all the time. Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
Well, yeah, Rob, you touched on some things. I'm wondering, you're speaking in a prison, and you're speaking in Howard County, realtors, graduates, all that kind of stuff. I wonder if there is a difference in the demographic of the people in those different, not so much demographic, motivation level. Sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom to hear advice from people, even if you're just kind of doing okay. Somebody tells you, look, you can be really successful, but you got to do these things like writing your 8 letters every day, making your 16 phone calls, doing these daily tasks. And a lot of people, it goes in one ear and out the other when they could be in and out of doing all those tasks in an hour and a half. But every day it's another hour and a half that's missed. Whereas, maybe those guys coming out of prison, they're hearing this and going, okay, I'm changing my life. I wonder if you've seen that from your talks or,
Yeah, what's interesting. So like, I like those one sayings: when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right? Yeah. And I got that from Wayne Dyer years ago. And so think about this. So we think our perspective might be those people in prison, they're hungry. They want to get out there. They want to do better. And then we think of the successful people, they might not need it as much. But the twist on that could be the people that are successful and out of jail may be more of a prison than the people who are in prison, right? Their mindsets, right? They could be letting the things are running. They're not controlling their life. Their life is being run by something else. Where these people in prison, they're in prison, they ain't going anywhere. Well, let me manage myself in here. Let me grow in here. Let me be better in here. So when I get out, I'm going to be more free than I was locked in.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that picture because that's true. I actually know somebody very well and very, very wealthy, and I had asked him a question similar to what you're saying, and I don't want to go into too much detail on this podcast, but his description of the way he lives is in a prison. And you're going, anybody on the outside would go, nah, but you're like, and then, I know the situation in particular. And I said, yeah, I could see the mental constraints causing that to feel like a prison. Because I said, that sounds like a prison. He's like, it's exactly what it is. And so there is a perspective there that I think people just assume that, is the case, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, so the book I wrote, Better Than You Think, and the subtitle is Developing Awareness to Live a More Fulfilling Life. So you talked about this guy living in a prison who's really wealthy. Well, I would guess that that person lacks fulfillment. I would guess that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then on the other hand, there could be somebody in prison that's been there years, months, decades, whatever, but they may be learning and growing and changing. They may be more fulfilled.
Right. Of course. Sure. It's just perspective, right? It's always perspective.
Yeah. And so what are you doing? What am I doing to become more aware, to live the life we want to live?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the author Michael Singer? He's very spiritual.
Yeah. The Untethered Soul.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So there you go. Like everybody's looking for everything outside of you when the reality is everything's inside of you based on, that's perfect. Wow,
that's one of my favorites. I love that book.
Really? Okay. Nice. Yeah. He's, I spent quite a good chunk of time, like exchanging emails back and forth with him to get to the bottom of his core teachings. I think it's a pretty impressive perspective. His story is amazing.
That's cool. That's really cool that you're building that relationship with him.
Yeah. He's but the story is that his overall story, I think, is so cool. I tell people like you don't have to be spiritual, you don't have to be anything. Just read the story. It's so cool how he just one thing led to the next thing you know, he's a CEO, and the next thing you know, he's facing, they're going to try to indict him, and he's like, I'm fine. I didn't do anything wrong. And then he's fine. It's wild. So, and he's a comical guy if you watch his YouTube stuff. So
yeah. And at the end of the day, it is spiritual at the end of the day.
It is very, very highly with him. Yeah. So awesome. I enjoy this talk, Rob. I enjoy meeting you. And so October 11th is your event. Anybody that's been watching this, you can see Rob. If you want to talk to Rob at talktorob.com. That's about as easy as a domain could get for you. So I appreciate it, man. We'll be in touch. We'll have this out for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. You guys will talk offline. Love to connect with you.
Sounds good, Rob.
Awesome. Thanks,
Take
Rob.
care. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.